All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London Football TV. We're live here at Lucas High School today. Adam Melrose on the play-by-play, joined by Nathan Caranci, first-time broadcast color commentary guy. We appreciate you joining us today, Nathan. How was your drive up here to the north from downtown?
Oh, buddy, you know the traffic that gets backed up on Glenora Drive up here in Northridge.
Yeah, right.
It was just fine. It was just fine.
That's great. Well, and you know what? I've known Caranci for a good long time. I've got, is it your cousin that plays on the junior team as well here at Lucas?
First cousin, Stefano Caranci. He's in grade 9 here, and he's proud to claim being one of a couple grade 9 starters on the offense. Really proud of him. Actually, we got down to the game at Parkside last week.
Yep.
And I got to see him play his first game. He was pretty excited about that. And congrats on the big win to the junior team, by the way.
Thank you so much, sir. No, yeah, and your cousin's been a great addition to that junior team. Still very surprised he wasn't wearing white and blue this year. To be fair, I know of your heritage, right? But
well, I'll tell you, the Caranci name here at Lucas goes way back. His dad was a graduate here of Lucas. My father was a graduate here of Lucas. Their brother was a graduate here of Lucas. Actually, the oldest brother was on the All-Star team back in, I think it was 81 or something.
Oh,
like
wow.
that. So
okay.
The blue on blue is no stranger in the Caranci household.
Okay, I like it. The little history lesson I didn't know. I'm very impressed actually. So, well, very good. Well, this is a lot of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday games this year. Mainly the Tier 2 sort of county games, if you will, on Wednesdays. Thursdays are a mix of both. We're going to do the game today. Obviously, this thing kicks off in a couple of minutes. And then tomorrow, you'll be coaching in the Oak Ridge CCH game, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to come over there and do my best from a ladder or something to stream that game. I've already reached out to the good guys at Oak Ridge, and they've absolutely said they'll hook us up. So looking forward to a good game today. Obviously, if we're looking at the charts and the rosters for both teams, we've got a situation where, we did the South Medway game last week, and, a lot of the same guys here showing up. Guys to be looking out for here, Nate, is Maddox Reed, 0, Drake Logan at 1, Lane Variotes at 7. Jacob Rowley will be suiting up at quarterback in the game today because QB1, Leon Doucette, still down, just confirmed before the game. Moxley getting the most of the carries. That's number 30 for South. And then, obviously, on the defensive side of things, have a look for nose tackle Odia Novia, who is a load. And did a really good job against the Medway Center last game. And then Alex Arnos, the summertime kid for South, did a great job too. at Lucas. We'll be seeing, fifth year here at Lucas, Sean Malik at quarterback. RB3 for the most part stepping up in Alvin Pham when we got Buckle and Sigurdsson still down for this game. And then Green, Scrivener, and Tong at wide receiver. On defense for Lucas, you're going to be watching out for number 44, and that is James Jollymore. His older brother, Owen, played here, was an absolute, rock star defensive end for Lucas, and is now at First Year Western. So a lot of good players on both sides of the ball here. I'm looking forward to it. I know that the prediction show for London Football TV this week swayed a little heavy towards Lucas, but I think South certainly has something to prove. No points on the board yet on the year, but looking to obviously put at least one up there at this point, and I think we're poised for a great game. Beautiful weather too.
What you're having here is two teams with a lot of history, a lot of tradition, good coaching, and they're getting their depth challenged early. I mean, it was a big transition year for both teams, especially South with Andre Thompson, being as excellent a player as he is, and others, Chase Smith, graduating on to the next level. You were already going to have a transition. You already had some new faces, and then all of a sudden you have these early injuries. You got a new quarterback. You got a new running back. Both teams are challenged at running back depth. So, both teams are going to get back on the rails. I would say Lucas will have that kind of edge here at their United in Sport game, but we'll have to see. It's very exciting to see how they kick things off.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting things started, I believe Gerber's going to be kicking this one off, and we are away. About a medium kick here. This will be fielded down around the 20-yard line. And the return's going to be from number 30, who I think was Moxley for South. And we'll get a 1st and 10 here, Nate. So not a bad kick, kind of an end-over-end deal here. And had a chance to get this rolling. So we'll see what we're going to come out in.
We had a moonshot, essentially from Lucas, trying to see if they could get on that ball before the South returners could get on it, and they had a chance, but South got on it just in the nick of time.
Yep. So quick
got
little
some clock issues up here.
Yeah, we're joining you live today from up in the crow's nest here at Lucas. As we get things started right now in a 4x1 for South with a little swing action, we're going to hit Drake Logan, who was brought down by number 3, and that's going to be Ondile Payne and number 20 at Lucas. What'd you see there, Nate?
Well, they had 4 receivers to the field, and you saw a nice rotation over by the free safety to the field. But you know what? Ultimately, first play of the game, we want to get the ball to the best player on the field, which is Drake Logan. So it's good to see them as they try and muster up some offense, go to Drake early.
Yeah, Kamal Sadig, number 20, coming down there, getting involved in the tackle as well, too, as we come back out in a 4x1 to the field side to boundary again. 3 guys in motion. Rowley is going to hand this one off to his man in the backfield, who goes right up the middle. One more man to beat. 13 gets in. He finally comes down here at about the 45-yard line. Heck of a pickup here. Who do we have there? Was it 33? Who do we got for 33 here? That's going to be Ali Seif running the ball.
Big explosive play early. It looked like a little bit of a draw or maybe right up the gut. They caught Lucas blitzing. They found a seam, and there really was nobody to fill at the second level. So big play for South.
Yeah. So back in it again, 4x1 in the boundary this time. We're at 10:37 on the broadcast if you're trying to line it up with something. Or just having a chat with the clock guys. Here we go. Rowley hands this one back off to Seif. Seif cutting it up, but does get stopped at the line. Gets a few extra. Keep the motor going. Really nice run in here from Seif. We didn't see this in the Medway game.
Lots of yards after contact, and again, running away from that quads look. Moving 4 receivers, 2 closest to the camera here, and running away from it. It's going to be interesting to see what Lucas is going to want to do is figure out how they're going to be able to cover all 4 of those receivers, including the most explosive player in the city, Drake Logan, and stop the run at the same time. They're really trying to stress out that Lucas defense, and we got a 2nd and short by the 4th play here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Lucas in a 40 front right here, but, linebackers need to do a better job of filling as we see some motion back over to that 4x1. Some adjustments made by the defense. Rowley looking to get him to jump. They should get a free first down out of this.
Looked like Lucas jumped, and then South jumped on him to get that extra 5 yards. So now it's going to be a first down for South.
Yeah, absolutely. And been following. I don't know where you guys are at. I've been following the White Hat, and we're at 9:38:50.
Oh, no, we're at 10:08.
10:08. Okay. All right, here we go. Back to the action here. South with the fresh set of downs. Coming out in this 4x1 look all day here, Mr. Caranci. And let's see what we're dialing up here on 1st and 10. Rally back to Seif. Seif going to the boundary. Gets brought out of bounds, but I think it looks like we're going to pick up, probably 7 or 8 yards on this based on the spot. 2nd down.
South coaches must see a little bit of an over-adjustment as their determination by Lucas, over-adjustment to the 4 receiver side. Again, why wouldn't you want to adjust to that with a guy like Drake Logan out there and having them set up the play in the first play of the game? Now, they continue to run away from that quads look, and this kid, Ali Seif, I mean, that's 3 carries on the day, getting them pretty good yards, setting up another 2nd and short.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously on that far side, they're probably switching to some sort of box, zone coverage on defense. But, yeah, certainly we're going to need to play downhill if we got a guy like Seif. As we check in Maddox Reed into the backfield, who's going to find that same wide-open B-gap. Really, the South O-line really doing a good job here.
Well, at the end of the day, for both teams, the teams are only going to go as far as their offensive and defensive lines take them. It's really good to see South get a little bit of momentum here early. Obviously the tale of their first few games has been offensive struggles based on injuries and otherwise. So, I mean, they're getting a little bit of momentum here. Lucas is going to want to adjust pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, same look. Obviously, we're staying up. Maddox Reed in the backfield right now, 4x1 for South. Good snap. We're going to hit our man in Drake Logan on the outside, and looks like another pickup of about 5 or 6 yards on that connection.
It continues to look like South is trying to figure out how Lucas is going to adjust to this quads look. They're going 4 receivers to the boundary, to the close side of the field, and Drake Logan being that 4th receiver, he offers a lot of a dynamic player out there. So they're either running it away from that or throwing it to it. I mean, Lucas is going to have to figure out how to stress. I'm watching the free safety. I'm watching their corner to the 4 receiver side and seeing how they adjust.
Yeah. Well, we do have the safety walking over here as Rowley takes the snap with Reed in the backfield. Handing this one back to Reed. Reed heading to the middle, finds a hole, and is going to pick this one up. This is going to be about 3rd and 1.
Looks like they're sending in their heavy package here. Beefs package. You got to love a shout out to the Beefs.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll have to bring up the Beefs connection here at some point. Some of the names we mentioned pregame here too being, summertime OSFL U18, superstars. Guys like Alex Arno is coming from there. You guys at the Beefs, picking up a variety of guys too on the Beefs as well too. So as we're just getting the clock and everything sorted. The Beefs package here for South. We're going to hand this one back to Seif. Seif gets picked up in the backfield, though. And that should be a loss. That looks like number 40 in on the tackle for Lucas. That's going to be Miles Kerr.
It looked like the field side defensive tackle came through unblocked. That's not what you want.
I'm going to use my phone.
Are we unplugging this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't see it from there. I have no idea what time's left.
We got it here.
6:53.
All right. Always lots of fun here at London Football TV, depending on where we're set up. And obviously an exciting turnover as we were working through the technology.
It is.
South looked to run the ball right up the gut, and it looked like the backside defensive tackle snuck through and made a big play in the backfield. That's a huge turnover for the Lucas defense. Gives them a lot of time to try and sort this out before their next time on the field. We'll see what Lucas offense can do.
Yeah, with just under 7 minutes-ish on the clock as we're working things out. I mean, nice drive put together by South. Shoot, big chunk yards, the huge run from Seif to get things going. I can only assume we're going to come back to that as the game progresses.
Well, I mean, when you're looking for offense, you're looking at your personnel. Who are the best players? Who are the players that are going to be able to make big plays? I mean, the kid that we didn't really expect to say much coming into this was Ali Seif. Broke off a few big plays.
100%.
But, that quads to the boundary was a pretty good look.
Yep. Malik's going to give this one to Pham, who's coming up the middle. And it's going to get about a 2-yard gain, bringing up 2nd and 8.
We had a backside pulling guard by Lucas. What else is new? We could just put that on a little bit of a on a loop for today, I'll bet. But the first play looked like trying to wrap that backside guard through. It didn't look like we had actually looked like we had a pretty good play by the South defensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and definitely want to thank you for joining us here as we're kind of the midway point of the first quarter at Lucas High School. Out of Melrose, Nathan Caranci on the call today. And let us know in the chat where you're watching from. I know we usually get a lot of, second period class people watching the game right now as Malik's going to take this snap, drop back. He's got to look to the field side. He's got a man downfield. I believe this is Anthony Green. Green's going to take this one all the way. He's got 2 men to beat. Rowley's in trail right now. Touchdown, Lucas. No flags. Let's put some points on the board, Mr. Caranci.
We had 6 players, 2 linebackers up on the line for Lucas. For South, excuse me. They really were trying to put pressure on Sean Malik, but the veteran, grade 13, third-year player that he is, he saw the safety play low into the boundary, and he hit that corner route to the field. He had all the room in the world to put the ball on him as well as he did. I mean, that's a big-time player making a big-time play.
Yeah, Nathan Green being a guy we talked about a lot in the pregame show or, prediction show as well, too, is absolute stud at special teams for the Junior Mustangs this summer, and coming back, having a fall season, and back with his Lucas homeboys here. So we'll adjust the score on your pause that too. And the kick is good, which will bring this game 7-0 for the Lucas Vikings. And still plenty of time here on the clock. I'm just going to throw the score in here, Mr. Crazy. Let me just. All right, and well,
it's great to see how the behind the scenes works here. Adam.
It's kind of fun. Yeah, normally the score is controlled by this little guy here, but we're making all sorts of changes here for our setup. So, with just over, I believe, 5 minutes here in the first quarter, a 7-0 affair. Big chunk yards from both teams. Obviously, South coming out, heavy run game. Lucas in a anything you can do, I can do better mentality, just launches this one downfield. Obviously found a matchup that they liked. Malik hits Green, and we've got a 7-0 affair. Exciting game already.
They had man coverage to the field. Sean Malik is no stranger to seeing that, and he hit that corner route. That's a hard throw to make. That's a far throw, and he put it right on him. So, I mean, you're talking about 2 teams that are really trying to get their footing here with high expectations. It's a transition year. Guys like Cam Bordeaux, Andre Thompson, Chase Smith, these guys are gone. You've got some new faces around. And, a pretty good first quarter offensively for both teams, but a couple big plays making all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And a guy like Chase Smith, absolutely a difference maker, suiting up at Waterloo as well, getting some playing time. So exciting to see all these London boys all around the province as we get this kickoff rolling.
Another moonshot here.
Little moonshot, obviously something that they like over on this far side. This one's going to be bobbled by 13, but it looks like it probably went out of bounds just in time, and we'll set up a fresh set of downs here for the South Lions.
Seems like they tried to adjust as best they can, but you know what? That Lucas kicker, I believe is that number 2, he put that ball up pretty high and really gave his team a chance. I mean, you know what? On kickoff, of course, they're going to surrender a little bit of field position. They're starting, I guess, at the 31-yard line. But I'll take that any day for a 50-50 ball, whether or not my team can recover it or not. So well done, although it wasn't capitalized on this time.
+1 to the 4-0.
Oh yeah, we'll make an adjustment here. All right. Well, here we go. South back to work, Mr. Caranci. Sort of a 2x2 set, changing things up here. A little offset each to the left side. Motion across. We're going to hand this one back to, I believe this was Maddox Reed.
Split zone up the middle, just trying to they're getting away from that quads look, or at least they did on first down here. And tried to just run the ball up the middle, see that front side edge, and it looked like a pretty good defensive play by the D end and by the strong side linebacker for Lucas.
Yeah, we'll do. I think that might have been 44 and James Jollymore, a guy we mentioned pregame. Definitely a dynamic player with an older brother playing at Western right now. So I'm sure there's a little extra coaching going on at home from Big Brother Owen.
You hear that Jollymore name in the game preparation, you're going to wake up from your slumber.
Yeah, having him at the junior team last year was a blessing. Rowley
looking
open for a deep shot as well. He's got a man wide open, connects with him, makes the first 2 men beat. He's got one guy to beat right now. Number 9 gets finally brought down. Nice little pickup. That's going to be number 6. That's going to be Curtis Quenneville of the South Lions. Another name we didn't say a whole lot last week against Medway, and the air attack is present here at Lucas High School today.
Listen, everybody's favorite play in Madden in college football, a little 2x2 4 verts, and trying to see where that safety goes. The safety went to the other side of the field. QB made a great read, and he had his slot receiver wide open in cover 3. So pretty good of him to see that. It was a little bit underthrown. Great adjustment by the receiver to make that play because, you got to catch the ball, and he did, and he made a great play.
Yeah, Seif, a little bit of motion in the backfield. Jet motion coming across from Drake Logan. Let's hand it to him as he heads to the top side of your screen. Gets picked up by, I believe, Jolly Moore and a whole herd of Vikings. And this one is still going to be a gain of about 2 or 3 yards, bringing up second down.
Trying to get a jet play out to the field to one of your best players, Drake Logan. He took the bait by taking it inside, and Lucas filled it pretty quickly. They obviously want to get the edge on a play like that, but it's always a good play on first down if you can give the ball to your best player.
Yeah, and that kid's got a nice little motor and a second, third, and fourth gear as well, too. So it's, hand it to him, and let's make it happen.
Good player, good family. He's got a real chance to be the top player in the city this year, and he's going to do a lot of good things for the South offense.
Yep. Seif checks in the box. 2 men in motion. Rowley having a look boundary side. Nice coverage by, this is going to be 10 of the Lucas Vikings. That's going to be Charles Hong, who had a pick last week in the game against Parkside. And that should be another turnover, if I'm not mistaken. Or are they bringing in new field goal unit for South?
Field goal unit.
Right.
Jacob Rowley read the man coverage, one-on-one coverage to Drake Logan to the boundary and just decided to take a shot. That's the play that you want. The ball, again, was a little bit underthrown, but Drake Logan tried to make an adjustment. It was a good play by the corner. It was a good read by the offense, and it's a 50-50 ball.
Yep. Well, we'll see what we've got in the leg of the kicker here, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is number 27. That's going to be Deaglin McNamara.
Hang on, I'll be right there, Wayne.
And
29-yarder.
Thank you, sir. Snap's good. Ball's down. Ball's up. It's wide left. And coming out of the end zone with it makes it to about the 5-yard line is Anthony Green. A little bit of late bobbling going on here, but this will bring up a first down for the Lucas Vikings. With, I believe, somewhere 3 minutes and change left to go.
Good awareness by the returner to get the ball out. Of course, in high school football, I believe we start at the 20-yard line if you just get the ball out of the end zone. So you're not handing South 1 point by keeping it in there. Obviously, some of these rules are changing at the CFL level.
I was just going to say.
We'll see how they adjust here in London, but at least for now. Still 0 points on the board for South.
Yeah, I enjoyed just the sheer amount of content online right now. Everybody acknowledging the new rule changes, and it's going to be real tough. We'll talk about this probably a bit more throughout the day, but all these fields are set up at 110 with 20-yard end zones. So here we go. Malik, 2 men in motion, is going to give this one to Alvin Pham. Pham's looking for the outside, but he's brought down almost immediately by Ali Seif. And a whole herd of extra Lions getting involved there too. Drake Logan in the mix as well. Second down and about 14.
Lucas offensive line just couldn't solidify that front side block. They had a pretty good block on the edge, but the defensive lineman came underneath. I'm not sure if it was the linebacker as well, but trying to get the edge on a stretch play, and it was just eaten up in the backfield. Yeah,
Seif did a really good job of sniffing that out. I think he's lining up here at Mike Backer and just reading inside out, just getting out there and making a play. So well done.
Seif emerging as a pretty can't miss player for these South Lions.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. I'd like to get the story from Coach Martin and Coach Stenning. Is why didn't we see this guy in the Medway game? It's definitely a question. 2 men in motion. Malik barking out a little bit of orders here, having a look field side. Nope, he's going to get swallowed up in the backfield. And that's going to be a sack for Drake Logan and 77 of the South Lions, which is Caven Lopez. Apologies if I'm saying that wrong, and it's like Lopes, but. Great job from the South defense as we call out. Let's just pause that clock. Calling out the training staff
It was a risky play by South Lions again. That was actually the same. It looked like they had the same play on defensively that they got burned on before. It looked like a cover one man coverage with 6 or 7 guys up on the line. If you're not getting to the quarterback, if you're not getting to Sean Malik and taking that sack right there, he's going to have somebody, whether it's to the boundary or to the field, probably wide open unless there's a DB making a pretty good play. So, it's feast or famine defense on second and long for these South Lions. They famine on the first play, but they feasted on this one. Looks like 3rd and 20 coming up.
Well, interesting question here. Yeah, so 3rd and 20. Do we try and punt this one away? Do we give up the deuce, make them work for it from the 35? What are you doing in this move if you had your offensive hat on right now?
You're going to have to. First of all, it's a one-score game. It's still the first quarter, and it's going to be how much you trust your punter. I mean, 3rd and 20, you're backed up to your own 10. I'm probably giving this up unless you think your punter is a magic man and can get it out of there.
Yeah.
You want to keep this game close. You want to keep this, a one-score game. And with South not putting any points on the scoreboard just yet, you're going to believe in your defense that they're going to be able to protect them. So I'm giving up the 2 points here unless you've got a handshake deal with your punter.
Yeah, and I believe it's Gerber for Lucas Vikings, who is also a rugby player. So maybe he's got a little drop kick in him. But I think, at this point, if it's me and if I'm putting my offense hat on, which almost is never on, I'm giving up 2 points here. But the punter looking like he's getting ready, stretching it out. So maybe he is going to unload this, and we're going to put our faith in the defense. But
see what we can do. It's good to see Drake Logan walking off the field without too much help. Anyways, we'll see how quickly he gets back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And hats off as we do at every game. Okay, so we do give up the 2, which was, I believe, the smart move here for sure. And we'll reset the score here. And it's interesting with the, I figured we'd talk about this at some point, but with all the new CFL changes, really kind of aiming things at being more of even though they're going to 15 yards in the end zones and they're shortening it down. The CCH field will finally make sense, being that it's 100 yards. I think isn't Central is it a 90-yard field?
Central, I think, is still 100. They've just got those little top hat end zones. The back corners are kind of cut off, which gives a little bit of a homey feel.
Right. So I think it's going to be tough. And, I've seen a few different pieces on this already where, people are saying, it's tough for cities that have multiple, games being played on it. Like if the OUA, does the OUA need to adjust now for the Western Mustangs? And we play there in the summertime as junior. Like, how is OSFL going to adjust? So how does a high school like this adjust? I mean, these goalposts have been cemented in the ground since the 60s, right? So there's going to be some questions to be answered here for sure. And I'm sure it'll be a slower move at the high school and OUA levels. But here we go with Rowley back at the helm. Couple men in motion trying to see if they can draw out the blitz. Rowley's going to hand this one back to Maddox Reed, who's trying to get the edge and gets back to the line of scrimmage, bringing up a 2nd down.
That's that same outside split zone play that they ran on 1st down last drive that they had. And again, Jollymore makes the play for a loss of a yard. So, I mean, I understand what they're getting at here, and they're also setting up that kind of slip from the H back to the other side. Eventually, they're probably going to try and fake that handoff and boot the other way and dump it off to the player on the split zone. But hey, 2nd and 11, that's not where you want to be. But you know what? That's just a good defensive play by Jollymore.
Yeah, well, we expect Rowley to go to the air on this in a 2nd and long situation, which, no, he's just going to keep this one up the middle, and he does find a hole, eventually brought down, gets this, looks the spot's probably going to be about 1.5 yards to gain to a first here.
3rd and short, if you believe in your offense, you're going to go for this. I think they had that heavy package come in earlier on 3rd and 1. They didn't make it, but that was also a missed assignment. So, hey, we got the beast package heading in again here.
I like it.
We'll see what I mean, it might be beef package, but today it's beef package.
Exactly. Right? That's what we're going for. That's what we hear from up top, and that's what we're going with.
So they're going to go 3rd and 1. I mean, they had that dive play to the right the last time they had this package in. We'll see if they could do it, but ultimately, listen, you got to block the guys right over top of the ball. That's rule number 1 on short yardage.
Yeah. Well, here we go. South in their beefs package, 3rd and short. We end up handing this off. Keep pumping. The boys get the job done. Got to trust your O-line here and First down south.
Greasy little fullback dive up the gut here. It was not that play doesn't take as much time to develop as their first halfback dive did. I mean, neither play takes a ton of time to develop, but I mean, even if somebody snuck through, it would have been pretty difficult to make that play.
Yeah.
They got the yard they need, and they get the first down they want.
Certainly tough in this Canadian game too. You already have to give that yard. And when they need a yard and a half, like, you better be on your stuff, man, because it's that's a hard one to defend. It happens, but South doing a good job of just earning that one. As we flip the quarter, again, if you're just joining us here on London Football TV, I want to thank Coach Crancy for joining us today. And I need to make one more change here to the quarter. We're live here from Lucas High School, which is, it's nice that we can be up here on the second level and get this job done, sir. And
well, you're making a good point about that yard off. And I mean, if we go back to that discussion about the rule changes in the CFL, to me, when I take a look at some of the changes that are being made, as long as that 1 yard off, you still have the rouge in some context, you still have the waggle on offense. There's a few of these things. I mean, I don't think it's as cataclysmic as some people want to make it seem like. But I mean, these rule changes are significant. I don't expect high schools to adjust anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think we'll probably see it at the OUA level first. Nice grab here from Drake Logan, who has he been out for 3 plays?
Great play. I think it was 3 plays, yes.
Okay.
So they had a nice little squat concept where they faked the run right up the gut. He heads out to the right, a little bit of a read option on that end. He did have somebody in his face. QB did have somebody in his face, Jacob Bradley, but he saw that late out breaking route by his best receiver, and he put it right on him. Drake had to adjust, and he did. So good for him, and we got a first down, Lions.
Absolutely. Lions at the 44. 1st and 10, fresh set of downs. Similar look that we've seen today. Rowley snaps good. He's going to hand this one back up to Maddox Reed, who finds a greasy hole in the middle again and should pick up about 7 or 8 yards on this as well, too. Really good running up the middle today.
They ran to the weak side. They pulled the backside guard, and they also brought the half who was lined up strong to the weak side, too. It looked like there was a little bit of a timing issue in the back or in the on the pulls. But the running back read it well, and he got a 2nd and short out of it, which is really what you want on first down runs.
Well, we're back into it now. 2nd and about 3 here for the South Lions, 2-by-2 as the snap is up. Couple guys in motion. Rowley fakes the handoff to no one, just keeps her up the middle. Jollymore and the boys getting involved, but this is absolutely going to be enough. It's about a 10-yard pickup, actually, for first down South.
It's kind of like a lead draw where that H is in the backfield, slips through the line, and the QB eventually follows him. What I'm seeing on the Lucas defense, they're really playing kind of man coverage across the board on those 2nd and shorts, and they got a really low safety. So, I mean, they're really kind of challenging the South quarterback, Rowley, to put the ball in the air. It's a dangerous game to play, but, I mean, when you play it and you win it, it's obviously a good thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the amount of just monster runs we're seeing today, too, it's a tough call, right? Because it's like, do you tell the safety to play down a bit more because you need to be in run support? But then, yeah, like they're going to see that eventually. We've seen it from up here as we see a big, deep pass going right away, and that probably intended for 6, I'm assuming, probably Curtis Quenneville.
Looked like the ball slipped out of his hands. To be honest with you, again, it was one of those 4 verts plays. I think they were going to challenge them, seeing that low safety and man coverage with the receivers that South has. Problem is QB Rowley got back there and the ball slipped out of his hands on the throw. So cool. Unfortunate. Thank God for the Lions that the Vikings weren't there to just pick it off and take it the other way.
Yeah, the South coaches down there with the stream in their ears, right? They're hearing your wonderful tactics being added into the game plan here. And just a quick note too, if you're joining us on the stream, I want to think there's easily about 50 or 60 people on last time I checked consistently. The clock, we are doing our absolute best to match up today, but unfortunately the main clock for Lucas has been shut down as Rowley keeps this one, heads to the field side, the bottom of your screen, and is brought down by number 3 of the Lucas Vikings. That's going to be Undile Payne.
Rowley is running tough. That's his about 3rd or 4th carry in this first half, and he's initiating contact when he's got the ball, and that's what you want to see from a QB if he's going to have the ball in his hands. If they're going to keep running the ball with him, and if that's going to be a threat, I think it's going to open up the field for him in the pass game, and it's going to have to force Lucas to stay home and, protect and really trust that it's possible he could run or pass. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and a big shout out to Coach Dylan Sherville, who's just messaging me right now saying, you're doing a wonderful job right now on the broadcast. I think he's a little jealous. He's stuck at work at the moment. So
Sherville, man, we got to get both of us on here. We got some stories from back in our high school days, but I don't know if he's told you any of them. But Dylan's a good man. We won a city championship together back in 2010.
Yeah,
I was a left guard. Dylan was a center with another friend of mine, Anthony Mazzowie, and our good friend Alex Kurowski was a left tackle. So that was the left side of that 2010
that's pretty wild
offensive CCH line.
Yeah.
So Dylan and I go way back.
Well, and to your point, I don't know if Dylan's told me any CCH stories. If you've gone to CCH and you don't tell at least a CCH story a day, did you really go to CCH? Right?
That's exactly.
I love it.
Well,
Yeah.
when my grade 8 orientation, what was the president or the prime minister, the student council prime minister was Scott Loveland, another former running back at CCH, and he said, listen, there's two types of people. This is the propaganda they infect us with, Adam. They said there's two types of people in the city, those who go to CCH and those who wish they went to CCH.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
That's what we believed while we were there anyway. So
It's pretty special. Like this city just in general, the amount of teams and even the amount of high schools that just don't even have programs anymore. Like this used to be a much bigger league at one point as well too. And it's amazing just the community that the city of London has as Rowley takes this handoff, gives it to Drake Logan, who's looking for a hole up the middle, keeps his feet pumping. And I believe this should be enough or just short, but this would be a fresh set of downs, depending on how they mark it.
a little bit of a tight alignment from the South offense, bringing the receivers closer to the picture, moving Drake Logan, again, a very explosive player, into the backfield to hand him the ball on a bit of a GH counter look. So, another third and short. This would be the third and short for the South Lions. First one, of course, they did not get. Second one, they had that fullback dive up the gut. We'll see if they call the Beefs package again. That'll be another exciting moment for us up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had my downs wrong here too, right? That was the second down, that last play. So it looks like they're bringing in, the most emotional part of the Canadian game. There's no chips in these footballs, right? We got to bring the chains out still to double check this spot. So here we go. London officials, again, doing a great job. We talk about this on a lot of the broadcasts. We legally can't do these games without these zebras showing up. As well as, things like trainers and all this other good stuff. And, I've personally, myself, Dylan Sherville, a bunch of other guys have gone and done the level 1 refereeing clinic to get involved, because that's part of the challenge here is, the average age of a referee in the city of London is getting higher. And without the refs, we can't do this. So if you still want to stay involved in the game of football, oh no, that was a third down. So they're going to mark this first down. We're going to turn over here and give this one to Lucas. But, yeah, if you want to get involved, the reffing class is pretty cool. I did it. It was online. And there's 4 levels to it. I thought you just kind of signed up and then, they put a white hat on you the next day. But I'm like, I know the rules of this game, but not enough that I can, with conviction, go out of the, and call them. But certainly, really decent. You start as a line judge or a down judge. There's a little bit of beer money in it for you or whatever you want to use that money for, and you call it a day. But just a great group of guys. Everybody just loves the sport so much, and it's nice to be sort of under the hood or behind the scenes there. No different than you're getting the behind the scenes London football TV experience today. When you get in the behind the scenes with the referees, it's kind of cool to see where it's at and some of the BS that you deal with, per se, right?
They're a great group of guys, and again, they do need more referees. That's why we see so many of these early days and Wednesday games, because they have to double and triple up on the weeks. So, the more refs, the merrier.
Well, and the more refs we get, the more these guys can get two rounds of golf in it a day. As we see a pass intended for Anthony Green getting shut down immediately by number 2 is South. That's going to be DeLon McPherson, which will bring up a 2nd and 10 for Lucas.
That's a great play by the boundary corner. He's isolated on the boundary side, and, he's really got a protected deep route on that because he's very exposed. He's backing up, protecting that deep route, and he makes a break on the ball on that, quick hook by the Vikings. That's just a great play by a boundary corner. That's what you want to see.
Well, as we bring up 2nd and 10 from about the 18-yard line here, Lucas.
Again, South with this 7-up look, really exposed to that trip side to the field. We'll see if they try and hit it again.
Malik having a look field side. Nope, he's going to flip his hips back to the boundary. Anthony Green just about gets it, but McPherson's got his number today. which is going to bring up 3rd and 10.
2 elite plays in a row by the boundary corner. I don't know, is there a flag? Because number 2, McPherson, looks a little concerned.
I know one of the major things that the referees were dealing with this year is they wanted to talk about taunting. And it's one thing to flex and, like, you just made a great play. Not discounting it, but the one thing they don't want to see at the referee level is that you don't turn to the guy who you just head topped or, whatever just happened, and that you don't flex on him, essentially. That's what they're trying to get away from.
That was Coach Hanmer's downfall as a Crusader. He was always flexing on the other team with the big plays he was making. So, I know that firsthand.
I don't know if you've been following the comment sections, but there are some major Coach Hanmer Everett fans in the city of London and surrounding area at this point, mainly the Montcalm kids, for having picked them in the Montcalm IDCI game. And we are going to see a punt.
Good punt.
Good punt. It's going to be returned by Drake Logan, who's going to go, looks to be a right return, and is brought down just about midfield, actually about the 40, and South go back to work here. So, if you want a good laugh, jump in some of the most recent picks and stuff like that, and it's like all the Montcalm guys saying, W. Everett picks, and we got to score one for Everett. And in our little London Football TV live group chat, we're putting in there. I'm just saying, like, can you just imagine the Everett on threes? And I'm just.
Well, the truth is, Coach Hanmer, Everett Hanmer, was the first quarterback I had in grade 9 at CCH. He was the QB1 in grade 10. He was starting quarterback, and why we didn't like Everett was that he was calling the plays in the huddle with his mouth guard in. That's what he used to do, and we did not like it. We couldn't understand what the heck he was talking about.
Good old Mumbles Hanmer, as we see South going back into this 4x1 in the boundary look. And we're going to hand this one off to Moxley, who's got a great lane to the outside. He's going to pick up a first down and a couple extras. Finally brought down by 40 and a couple other Lucas Vikings, but this will move the chains.
South getting back to that 14 look with 4 receivers. It looked like 4 receivers to the field this time, unless I had the alignment wrong. But in any case, running behind them, getting 10-plus yards on first down on a run play. I mean, that's pretty good. This formation, this approach seems to be what's given the Lions the most success so far. So we'll see if they get back to it on a little bit more of a consistent basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I can do for you, just because we don't have a technician in here to do replays for us, I'll put the stream up on this screen. And this is in about a 30-second delay, so if you need to see the play afterwards, just looking after you here, buddy.
For those of you who have not seen this setup, this is as professional and elegant a setup as you're going to see for any broadcast whatsoever. So, Adam, I mean, the fact is you do a great job. You know that, I mean, you always talk about, you've mentioned a few times on the podcast that, it was the first podcast was the one that you did at CCH when we had a phone call.
Yeah.
But it was actually, I called Jen Annan, who's Jen and Rob are obviously the presidents and owners of the London Beefeaters. And I said, hey, who does the game? I didn't know it was you. You and I knew each other, but I didn't know that it was you that did the broadcast for the Beefs. And she goes, yeah, it's Adam. He does an amazing job, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, he sure does do an amazing job. I made her give me your number. She did, and I called you, and that's where it went from here. But, I mean,
the rest is history, yeah.
Setup, exactly.
It's funny that all of this comes back to Dave Martin of the South Lions, who I've known for a good long time as well. All of this comes back to the OFL Champ Weekend that happened at Citywide years ago, and the late and great KJ Kenemy got a hold of me and says, Adam, I want to stream the Champ Weekend. Do you know how to do that? And I remember being like, nope. But tell you what, give me the weekend, and I'll have an answer for us by Monday. And you know what? That was I look back and I watch those streams every once in a while, and it was way different back then. But we've definitely come pretty far since then. As we see Moxley on a big run up the middle. And, KJ just loved it. I mean, that guy had us doing 6 games in a day, which is just wild to call that amount of football. And then the amount of weekends we did with, 30 hours of e-gaming during the lockdown and everything like that, where my garage became a studio. Like, it was wild. So, yeah. And everything for that first broadcast was just parts out of the scrap bin in my basement at my office. So it was just kind of fun to put it all together. And, certainly everything's grown really well since then. As we get back to this 4x1 look, or 14, depending on how you're looking at it, we're going to hand this one off to Moxley. Moxley's looking for the middle, but I think he maybe gets about a yard on this one.
The first two plays of the drive, they ran towards the 4-receiver side, and that was to the boundary on both those runs. This time, they flipped those 4 receivers to the field, and they still run to that single, or they still run to the boundary, which is now behind the single receiver side. I will tell you, when they go 4 receivers to the boundary, and they have that lone receiver to the field one-on-one. I mean, it's pretty lonely out there for a corner, especially when he's only given him a 2-yard cushion, 1 or 2 yard cushion. So, I mean, they really are setting up a lot of things if they think they're going to be able to execute it. Rowley, I should say, has had a few balls, a couple good catches, but a couple slip out of his hands. I know that's, not something he wants to do, but he's going to have those opportunities moving forward for those big home run plays, whether it's Drake or otherwise.
Yeah, well, here we go. Big 27 here, and a 3rd and 4. They're going to go for the field goal. Field goal's up, but it looks like it went off somebody's shoulder pad. Green's going to get this one out of the end zone, and the Lucas Vikings will take back over on offense.
Something I'd never seen before. The South Lions, I mean, I would say heckling their own kicker with a nice little ole ole from the sideline, but it must be something he wants to hear from the sideline, because I thought I was seeing things with Coach Stenning clapping his hands and giving a nice little ole ole with his whole.
I literally thought I was daydreaming for a second, which happens every once in a while when you're pushing all these buttons and recording and all this stuff. But yeah, I see everybody over there, and because here's what ends up happening is the majority of your kickers that you get at high school ball are guys that came from soccer, right? So give them a little soccer chant to just get them all amped up. I like it. Still a 7-2 affair for the home team today. And South getting their 2 points by safety conceded by the Lucas Vikings. But certainly, if I had to evaluate today's South Lions versus last Friday's South Lions, man, have they made some adjustments. And it's looking a lot better for the South Lions in this game. And
South has moved the ball. They've gained way more yards than the Lucas Vikings have. They just have not been able to capitalize on it with points, unfortunately, with getting stuffed on 3rd and 1 and otherwise. Lucas, on the other hand, has not moved the ball extremely well, but they've had one big play that has got them their 7 points on the board. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, as we go back to Sean Malik now, is going to hand this one off to Alvin Pham. Pham's going to pick up a couple of yards and bring up a 2nd down.
Just a 2-by-2 look by the Lucas Vikings, running the ball up the middle. Nice little gain of 4. You've got 2nd and mid from here. I'm looking again. I'm going to see what South has done on 2nd and down the entire game. They've come up with 7 guys up on the line, really trying to pressure Sean Malik in his drop back. But you know what? Again, the first play he saw that, he hit a nice corner to the field, and it was wide open for a touchdown with a beautiful throw. The second time it happened, he got sacked in the backfield. So, I mean, we'll see if it happens again. It does look like they're going to give that 7-up look.
Yeah, and part of the challenge with Malik is he always wants that go ball. And sometimes there can be some wide open underneath routes that they're just not in his vision. But he's looking for that shot every time, as we see that exactly right now. In double coverage, this one's going to get picked off. But, he steps out of bounds. Okay, sorry, I thought there was a flag right away. This one is being picked off by number 2. That's DeLon McPherson, who did a great job of shutting things down in the last series. And sorry, I saw Coach Martin running out on the field. I'm like, did we get a timeout as well? He's like, nope. He was just scurrying back to the side.
Those are 3 massive plays as the boundary corner, McPherson. I mean, we saw it on the last drive, him make 2 massive plays to turn it into a 2-and-out for the Vikings. They continue to try and pick on him, and he doesn't look like he's going to be picked on today with a huge interception covering that boundary receiver one-on-one.
Yeah, and that's going to be the challenge with, Achilles heel for Mr. Malik, and it has been for the last couple of years, is he just wants that home run every time, and we just need to understand you could take those little underneath routes every once in a while, get 5-6 yards, let's throw it twice and get there. But good strong arm, but obviously they're looking at Anthony Green. They're smart. They know he's the target.
When you got a guy like a nice young Cam Melrose out there, it's a little bit easier, I guess. But not this year.
You need Cam Melrose to run into linebacker land and just take the headshots every play. So here we go as we hand this one back off to Maddox Reed, who's going to just run into the herd here. And a flag does fly.
Another tight formation by the South Lions. It didn't look like they had an end on that far side. I think it was that Drake Logan. It might have been somebody else lined up off the line. So it looks like they're going to call Oh, no, it's not. They're calling it on Lucas.
Well, I saw the old conga procedure hands.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Okay.
So My eyes did not deceive me. I had it right. Yeah, no, the receiver on the far side's got to line up on the line.
Yeah. It's always fun when you get to come here, right? Like, you know so much about ball, but then when you have to put it into like quick context sometimes, it's a lot of fun when a headset goes on. So now we're waving it off.
They declined it, but
Oh, okay.
is it 2nd and 5 or 3rd? I'm not sure. The down. I thought that was a first down play. Again, South getting back into that tight package, bringing people closer to the ball, which is always what I like to see as an O-line coach.
Well,
but
if you're having so much success running,
Yeah.
then heck yeah, tighten it down, right? And get another man there that we can just run behind. It's, Moxley, Seif, and Maddox Reed doing a good job of just following behind these giants that are in front of them and doing their job. So
we have to be honest here. I mean, again, we talked about this pregame. Leon Doucette was projected to be and was the starting quarterback for South coming into this year. This was going to be the year that he was going to be taking over from really all Ontario QB and Andre Thompson, who just got off of winning another championship with the Junior Mustangs. So but Leon, he got hurt and injuries happen, and that's the thing. You challenge the depth, so you got a guy like Jacob Rowley coming in there. I mean, you're going to have to adjust the offense accordingly.
Okay, so it looks like they ended up just declining this. 2nd down. It was either declined or there was no flag. Obviously, we were talking, I should have had my ears open. But Rowley's just going to keep this one. Ball comes loose, but I think he falls right back on it. But not before getting a first down and a giant pickup here for South.
The QB run game has been certainly what's gotten the South Lions over half of their yards today. They still only have 2 points on the board, but I mean, this QB's running tough, and that was the first fumble that you saw. It's not like, again, playing the video games where the QB's going to fumble once or twice a drive. I mean, if he puts the ball away, this is high school football. He can run just like anybody else. There's nobody saying that just because he's a QB, he shouldn't be running the ball. So if he's got the toughness and he's going to be coming forward and getting yards like that, I mean, you got to keep him as an option in the backfield.
100%. And if you look at that last play too, Ali Seif is downfield, makes a block 10 yards downfield, opens up that last 5 yards. So boys, keep blocking until the whistle. As we stay a little kind of 2-by-2 action again, Rowley's just going to run the draw, but no, he's picked up right away by, I believe, James Jollymore. No, that's number 14 for Lucas. That's going to be Kevin Constantine.
What you had was the backside defensive tackle, or that was a linebacker actually, come free. And I mean, this is what you're exposed to sometimes when you're pulling that backside guard. If you don't have the organization by the center or the tackle to figure out who are the most threatening players, you're going to have somebody blow it up in the backfield. Nobody knows that better than my good friend Dylan Sherville, by the way, who was a perpetrator of some of those things as the center, but I digress. Sure, and I'll get into that on another podcast.
We got to get you, Dylan. We got to get you as a host. As we see Rowley rolling out to the boundary, he's just going to keep this one. Let's go of it. He's got a man downfield in lane. Variotes going to make a house call. No flags. Touchdown, South Lions.
An awesome play. You had a 4-receiver concept to the field there, and it's really hard for a team like Lucas to adjust in cover 3 to kind of keep, again, organized with all 4 of those guys to the same side. So to roll out to the right, what you need is pressure by the defense on the QB so that he can't make a throw like that. Eventually, the receiver snuck through past the deep third corner and made the play for a touchdown. Great play by the South Lions.
Yeah. I mean, you knew it was coming eventually. I mean, they're adjusting, but then they're playing the run, and it's, Variotes just gets loose and puts one up on the board.
A touchdown this late in the second half, I mean, in the final 3 minutes of this, or of the first half, I should say, is massive. To flip it from a 7-2 deficit to a 9-7 lead in a low-scoring game where both teams are struggling to kind of convert the yards that they're gaining. That's pretty big. So good for them for calling that play and for executing the way they did.
Yeah, anytime you get a chance to just kind of pop in and, make that right before half, right? Because it's the halftime is the hardest time, keeping the boys pumped up sometimes. So definitely, yeah, you raise a really good point. We're going to flip this over to 9-7. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not as good as perhaps some of the people that have done this before at managing. It's like I don't even want to touch any of these cords or buttons.
You're good. To be fair, normally it's 2 talking heads and then there's somebody manning this station, somebody manning that station, somebody on the camera. So
Unbelievable.
it was Dylan Sherville, who we've now mentioned a few times. It was him last year who said, let's do the CCH Banting final. I said, dude, it's just the two of us. He goes, let's make it happen. But
I do remember you calling for him to press the replay button a few times, and he missed it.
Yeah, exactly. Ron, and you know what? The proof of concept was Coach Ron and I going to the East Elgin Cast game and doing it from the 55 on a table, this exact setup, basically. And I'm like, all right, if we can do this with Ronnie, bless his heart, I can get this done with Shervs. But then when near the end of it, Sherville took off with the wireless camera, because he was trying to get the handshake and a bunch of other stuff, and it was like, okay. And then Everett just showed up out of nowhere because he was going to be he was there, obviously, because he's on the junior squad last year. But, yeah, always nice when the boys show up to give you a hand. And, yeah, sometimes we can get, some student volunteers to help. Even at South last week, we had some guys pushing buttons and another guy filming who decided to break my camera. And, it's just good help is hard to find is the point I'm trying to make, right?
Well, you talk about, how all these things connect, especially in London football. I mean, we talked about the referees earlier. Not having as many refs has forced some of these games to move to 11 o'clock and move to Wednesday. So you're going to have more Wednesday and Thursday and Friday 11 a.m. games, especially earlier in the week, that you might not otherwise have. And that's where, a show like this one is so important because, parents and people wanting to watch these games are not able to make it out, as early in the day as 11 o'clock.
Yeah, well, and then the other challenge being that the city won't let us rent things like Citywide past 5 o'clock for, reasons from years ago. As Malik puts this one back in the air, he's got Anthony Green. They're going to call that a catch, and we'll move the chains. Yeah, I mean, it was nice once upon a time when we'd have citywide games Thursdays and Friday nights, or even when we did the JP2 games when we first kind of came back after the lockdown. It was really nice to have those night games again, but, here we are.
We'll have to figure that out with the city. You had a nice little play action there, right up the middle. Give a good look. Sean Malik flipped to his weak side, actually, to his blind side, and hit the sideline towards the field. Really good throw. That's pretty tough to make. I think they're staying away from number 2, or else maybe perhaps that was McPherson on that.
Timeout. So, Grant, what do you guys have for a time? Okay. All right, perfect. So we're actually pretty close. About to. So, we're normally we would have a scoreboard here, and somebody just matches it up, right? But with the scoreboard, unfortunately, being down at Lucas, we're doing our best to push buttons while the White Hats doing their thing. So, I mean,
get the scoreboard sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, I love being able to do this for people who can't make it, right? And it's always usually funny you see in the chat, like people are like, oh, I'm in third period, whatever, watching the game. But then you get mom and dad who just can't get out of work. Yeah. And this also gives the kids a good chance to watch the game afterwards as well, too. But, it's, it's something I've been envisioning, and I was actually talking to Sherville about it at some point. But I'd like to work towards, because we could rent Western.
Right.
So my moves being, how do we get, I don't know if you've seen it, but Guelph does Friday Night Lights. It's sponsored by McDonald's.
Oh, wow.
They do 2 high school games every single Friday night. They're like a 6 and an 8 o'clock. They pack that place. You can put about 3,000 people into that Guelph Stadium, and they sell it out almost every single Friday night. So that's what I've been trying to look at is like, do we round up some sponsors? Obviously the problem is as soon as you get to Western, you need security and there's a bunch of other stuff. But if you could put 2,000 butts in the seats, I think there's a cool opportunity there to put a really cool night on. Of course, we'd stream it too, right? Yeah. But
well, there was an opportunity last year. We tried to get something for the city finals there. It didn't work out, but I know that there's a group of people really wanting to make this happen. So we'll see if it happens this year and try and break the seal so that it'll happen a little bit more often moving forward.
Malik having a look to field side, taking a shot. Absolutely pulls this one in. Maddox Reed on the coverage, but I think that's number 5 on the reception. So that's going to be Ben Scrivener, and that'll be enough for another first down here for the Lucas Vikings.
So Scrivener lining up as that slot receiver to the field. You had a wheel route to the boundary, and you had just it wasn't really a speed out. It was kind of like an 8 to 10 yard out and a go concept to the field. So really applying pressure inside. Nice little flood concept, and I think he had a lot of contact by the defender on him, if we're being honest. But to come down with that catch without a flag, good for him. Don't leave it in the hands of the referees. Catch the ball.
100%. Nice little highlight clip for Mr. Scrivener. Malik with 3-by-1 here. One guy in the backfield for protection. Malik's having a look field side, takes a shot downfield, and that's going to be Anthony Green looking for a flag. Does get one. and he's pointing to his back plate. I think Rowley had him in coverage there.
That was the same play that they hit that home run on in the first quarter, I believe. They had 3 receivers to the field. They had the third receiver run a deep corner. He pressed hard on the Sam backer that was expanded onto him, and pressed that corner outside of the field. Now, there was contact. I mean, to my eyes, it looked like he still had a chance to catch that ball, and he kind of ran into him or pressured him. That's a bang-bang play that the referee has a little bit of a better vantage point than I do, so I'll trust him on that.
Yeah, well, and we've got the white hats, so they're going to walk this one off.
15 yards from where the ball was snapped.
Yeah, that one's tough. Obviously, that referee on the far side of the field there would have had the best angle on what happened, right? It's there's plenty of times definitely where I see stuff. I'm like, there's no flipping way, and then I see like B&M shoots or one of these camera guys that are out in the city somewhere, and they've got the perfect angle. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, actually, yeah. There was some stuff that we just couldn't see from our angle. So.
Well, Scrivener lining up as that third receiver to really kind of have the Sam bump out and pressure him or cover him. I mean, it's a little bit of a mismatch on paper. I'm not sure how talented the South players, just by the nature of the positions they play, it's tough to cover that.
Yeah, couple men in motion. Sean looking to the boundary. This one is going to be incomplete, and he was looking for Anthony Green again in the boundary this time.
Again, faking the run up the middle. A little bit of a pivot bootleg, a little mini bootleg, I guess, to the boundary side this time, and trying to hit that sideline. This time it didn't work out.
Well,
so you got 2nd and 10 on the 26-yard line. It is such an advantage for Lucas, and that's the thing. That's why they're just going to continue to get better. Both of these teams are, let's be honest. But
yeah.
I mean, when you don't always have a 5th-year starting quarterback with as much experience as Sean Malik. So, I mean, they're a dynamic threat to win any game they play.
Yeah. Well, and Sean having a good chance playing a little bit of Tier 2 ball in the summer at the Woodstock well too, under the tutelage of some pretty good coaches. As this ball goes deep again, and it's picked off right at the goal line by 21 of South. That's going to be Ben Ledger, and we got a turnover right on the goal line. Lucas looking to put some points on. South's going to shut this one down. We've got about 30 seconds left in the game here, but wow. Were we looking for Green? I missed the who we were aiming for.
So Ledger playing that free safety spot, lining up over top of the ball on the hash. He made the read. He stayed patient, and we were going back to Scrivener, back to the well again, and he broke on the ball, got right under it. So the ball, it was tough. That would have been wasn't double coverage from the initial point of play, but I mean, when you have a center fielder like that, a free safety, who can stay patient, make the read, and break on the ball on a slot fade or a seam route, I should say, as quickly as he did, that's such an advantage for South. So great play.
Well, South widening back out a bit here. Again, 3-1. Going to hand this ball off. We get it just across the line. Keep trucking. It's going to pick up about 3 yards on that one.
Just a simple run up the middle. Try and give your offense a little bit of space to breathe. Pretty good yards after contact there. I think we're lined up at about the 5-yard line now. So you're 2nd and 6 from the 5-yard line. You got a little bit of space. You don't want to get too aggressive here, making, with the lead of 2 points, which is essentially a tie at this point. But, I mean, you've got 20 seconds left. You do not want to give up 2 points before halftime. So you're really just going to want to sit on it.
Yeah,
and,
as Coach Martin is basically on the Lucas bench right now telling Rowley when to indeed snap it. He's standing next to the referee who's managing the clock right now. So we're probably just going to let that roll down. Here we go. Rowley's going to try and keep it up the middle. He does. Actually finds himself a nice little lane on the outside. Brought down by the Lucas defender, but not before moving the chains.
Did the Vikings not have their timeouts there? I would have. I thought they still did. I mean, you got to call timeouts there.
South has only called one timeout.
If Lucas had called their timeouts, they might have been able to get a couple points out of that. But alas, here we are, halftime, 9-7.
Absolutely, and absolutely. Heading into the half here, if I can catch my words here, been a very exciting first half to say the least. Obviously, 9 points put up on the board. South's first of the year. Nice little connection to Lane Variotes. The other two coming by safety from Lucas. Lucas scoring early in the game with a nice pass to Anthony Green, who busts off a giant play. But a really close game. A way different looking South Lions team than what we saw last week against Medway. I've been really excited, on both sides of the ball. I think they're both moving it well. Defenses are rolling. I think this stays close, and real excited for the second half. Final thoughts on the first half before we take a break.
South has made plays on defense when they have needed them, and that's really kept it to 7 points for Lucas. I will say, coming into this second half, wrapping up this first half, I should say, it was a big play by Lucas to get those 7 points. South seems to be rolling, gaining a lot more yards, and having a little bit more momentum than the Vikings. So I think South's got the momentum going into halftime. We're going to have to see who can finish their drives, who can get in the red zone and kick their field goals and score their touchdowns ultimately, because that's what's obviously going to win this game. Right now, neither team is able to kind of capitalize other than a couple big plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're watching London Football TV. Adam Melrose, Nathan Caranci on the call today, and we should be back in about 12 minutes. Well, welcome back to second half action here at Lucas High School. A 9-7 affair for the visiting South Lions. And I'm going right to the YouTube chat right away. Per Shots, who shot that, by the way, dropping a comment in that the South offense looking completely different this week. He is not wrong. With the addition of Ali Seif coming alive, Variotes, who we saw last week, has the one major for them. And then, of course, we had a tutty from Anthony Green on the Lucas side of things, Mr. Caranci. But, definitely a nice tight game. Nice offense being played. Good defense being played on both sides. Thoughts as we head into this first kickoff here of the second half?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be who converts their opportunities on offense. We've seen a lot of opportunities for both teams, frankly, mostly South, during the first half that they haven't been able to convert on. I think they're going to, both teams are going to come out. Lucas is going to have their opportunity early. Nice little moonshot here. Oh, no, I guess that's a proper kickoff.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think the Vikings have a really good chance here. They're going to need to try and establish the run. They haven't done that just yet. And, it's classic Lucas. I mean, they go as far as the O-line, that classic Lucas Viking O-line goes. So we got a big penalty here.
Oh, I missed that one. That
I think
was
it's
way
unnecessary
back.
roughness of some sort.
Seven blue after the play, so that's going to be on Rambir Chima. So, assuming some sort of unnecessary roughness, maybe a little bit of yapping, and this one's going to get backed up. It'll still be first down, Lucas.
Can't have that.
No, we gotta keep our emotions in check here, fellas.
Get that live stream there.
Yep. Yeah. Let's get the.
Look at this. They treat me like the king up here.
There we go. So that's
Perfect.
the live. Okay. Well, again, London Football TV, if you're just watching, we get a lot of brand new viewers on these streams. So, do us a favor. I'll only ask one time. Give us a little like, give us a subscribe, hit that bell. So we'll be covering a lot of high school ball this year and would love your support. As we go back into the 2x2 look here, Malik's going to hand this one off to Pham. Pham gets picked up in the backfield, loses about 3 on that play, second down.
Again, linebacker comes from the backside on a bit of a wrap, kind of power look. You got to be able to block that backside. It's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to get the yards on the front side unless you can cut that off. And if you can't cut off flow and you can't, if you can't execute on those simple plays, it's not going to look good for you when you've got 2nd and 13 from here.
Yeah, as the medic comes back out, we're on a bigger delay this time. Try hitting this. Get forward. Okay, now we're caught up.
Perfect.
Okay. So
I was going to do it, but I didn't want to mess with the button here.
You're good, man. You're good. It's always baby steps and learning the technology piece here in London football. So, again, as I was saying earlier, tons of live streams coming up. Tomorrow we will bring you the Oak Ridge CCH game. The Oak Ridge guys have said they'll give us some sort of ladder to film off of, so we'll have something. It'll be myself and Joe Harris and any other guests who decide they want to show up for the broadcast, which would be great. The votes are still out right now on whether I'm going to make it to Parkside this evening. I would like to cover a Laurier game, and the Parkside guys have let us use that second floor vantage point, which is really nice. So potential to do one tonight, but guaranteed tomorrow, maybe tonight, and then every other week we're going to do something. I'm trying to get all the major centers in the Cercelli and the Darnell divisions. So
it's pretty great what Parkside does. I was out there, like I was saying, to watch your junior game last week with my cousin Stefano playing slot back for that Lucas Viking junior team. We played there last year against them. CCH did. It's just such a great environment. Obviously, it feels like St. Thomas is not a small town. Like, let's, give me a break. It's St. Thomas is St. Thomas. They're they're a city. But, it's just great, the community that they have there, bringing people out. I mean, some people from London, but to have the night games, to have the opportunity with the lights that they have, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that as many times as you can?
Absolutely.
Obviously, you have time pressures of people being there and volunteering, but, I mean, you know what? When you have such a great community environment there, you got to take advantage of it, and I'm just so happy that they do that.
Yeah, it looks like Damon coming off, Damon Wajia. Just an all-heart guy, and it sucks seeing anybody go down, but certainly that that'll be a big hole on the line for the Lucas Vikings that can only assume Coach Martin's defense will do a good job of exploiting. Well, here we go. 2nd and 14. Malik having a look to the top side of your screen. He's got a man downfield, and I believe Scrivener. Yep, and he's going to get brought down by number 7 of South. That's going to be Lane Variotti. So Variotti's playing both ways today, too.
Really good play by Sean Malik. You know, he had 2-by-2 set with King to the field. He gave a look to the boundary to move that free safety over to the boundary, and he came back with a little bit of a post from that field slot. I believe that was Scrivener. So, I mean, he put the ball right on him, which is what you needed on 2nd and 14 or 15. That's a pretty good play. Again, that's what a fifth-year quarterback can offer you when he does execute those plays. That's good. We got to see more of that from Sean Malik.
Yeah, and even with Sean, you know, playing as a AA guy in the summer at the Wolverines, you're still playing teams like Brantford, who should be in the AAA. So understands the pressure and going through his reads nicely today. Oh, but we get a high snap. We're going to fall on this one. Lose about 12 to 15 yards, 15 almost, and that'll bring up a 2nd and long.
I wasn't sure if Damon Mujaya was the center. Like, are we talking about a backup center? We're here with a bad snap,
That's
or
possible.
Not sure if we've adjusted accordingly.
Yeah, and if that's normally what you get if the backup snapper hasn't been on the sideline, you know, practicing, which most times they don't. Right? Then yeah, get the nerves out. You got big Odia Novia here coming at you every single play too, right? So.
I think they're taking Odia out on 2nd and long, trying to put somebody with a pass rush. You could
like a NASCAR package of some kind.
Odia's definitely a gap specialist playing there at the 1-tech or the nose. So
that's a very fair statement. 2-man in motion.
South going to bring 6 here.
Deep ball just through the hands of Scrivener again. I mean, we went to him once. Can we hit him again? Nope, just a little underran. We do have a guy down in the backfield. Nope, he's up. That's Ali Seif. So, assuming the punt crew for Lucas will be coming out.
Back to the well, and again, there's only so many. There's only so many plays in the playbook. On 2nd and 22, they went back to the well. That same play that got them their first down on the previous 2nd and 12 play that they had. A nice pump fake to that receiver closest to us, closest to the benches, the boundary receiver, and then a deep post to the slot back Scrivener. This time he didn't put it on him. The first time he did, and we got the first down. But you know, you got to keep yourself out of those 2nd and very long situations. You know, bad snaps, penalties. You know, these things you just can't have. It looked like there was a little bit of momentum from the Vikings, but 3rd and 22, you're not going to be able to do much.
Yep, and here we go, 3rd and a whole lot. Vikings set up to punt. Potential offside coming in. Nope. Punts away. And Logan Drake looking like he's going to return this one. Makes the first couple guys miss, keeps going, and pretty much gets up to about the 30, 36-yard line. And South, with great field position, looking to put another score on the board here.
This is what we were talking about at halftime, is can each team capitalize on their opportunities in the other team's end? Right now, we're going to have a first down from the 39 or maybe it was closer to the 35-yard line. That's a great opportunity for South. If you want to go up 2 scores, 2 possessions, you're going to have to do something on this play. I'm going to be looking for Jacob Rowley to hold the ball at QB and gain some yards on the ground. I'd love to see them get back to Ali Seif, who's really been running the ball well when it's been blocked up nicely. We'll see what they come out in, but this is a great opportunity here for the Lions.
Absolutely. Here we go. 2-by-2. Queen look from South as Drake Logan comes across in a little bit of jet motion. Nope, let's just hand this one back to Maddox Reed, who's going to get basically back to the line of scrimmage and bring up a 2nd down.
It was a read option on the backside end there. He decided to give it. I mean, the end played it well. If he would have pulled it, I think he might have had a chance, but really, at the end of the day, number 11 for Lucas, I think that is Waleed Fidel. He came through and he made the play. You got to be able to block it up in the middle. If you can't do that, you can't do much.
Yeah, Fidel's just a squeaky little guy on the inside. Real tough kid and doing his job. So here we go. Back to a 3-by-1 look here with 2 guys in the backfield keeping Rowley safe. We're going to pull this one. Rowley's rolling out to his right side. He's got a man downfield, and Drake Logan. Drake Logan's got one man to beat. Gets across the line. We're going to get a flag. This is likely going to be a horse collar tackle that's going to be declined, and this should be 6 points on the board for South.
Very nice play design by the South Lions. They had 3 receivers to the right, and they had the second receiver and third receiver kind of run a bit of a scissors concept. That second receiver, they got to about 10, 15 yards down the field. The second receiver broke on a post. Drake Logan slipped in on a corner right underneath, and it's very tough to cover that. So it's really good for Crowley to see that. Obviously, he was wide open based on a great play design and execution. But to put the ball on him is another story, and he did that, and that's why we have a big play. So good job, Lions.
It's always fun being right between the benches, too, when you get to hear, like, you think it's your team that's, mismanaged sometimes, but you're still, when you get to hear everybody else screaming for the PAT team, it's nice to know that you're not alone in the fact that some kids just don't know their assignments or when they need to go on the field.
The best part is when the guys on the PAT team are not, PAT team obviously is the team that kicks the point after touchdown. When they're the only one, when that's the only team that they're on and they're on the sideline and they're not doing much, that's the funny one. But
yeah,
anyways, looks like we've got 12 on the field now.
Yeah, it's tough, with the Google Classrooms, everybody gets the depth charts in the morning and you need to know it, and you can certainly normally tell who the locked-in guys are, but the biggest challenge too being that a lot of times it's your second string guys that are playing specials and stuff like that. So yeah, they get a little dreamy on the sidelines after a while. But here we go. 27 for the PAT. Nice little chip shot. Single point for South. And that will move this to a 16-7 affair for the South Lions, who, again, looking vastly different than last Friday against the Cowboys from Medway as they hustle off the field. And, we'll bring out their next special teams crew in the kickoff team. And I've been very impressed by the South team today.
That's a big touchdown for them. Making it a 9-point game makes it a 2-possession game. Obviously, it's still early in the third quarter, but similarly to what we saw at the beginning of the game, you had the team that received the ball, returned the ball off the kickoff, kind of get stymied, have to punt the ball, and then all of a sudden a big play by the team with the second possession of the half. So 16-7, that's these games could go either way. These are tight games. You're going to have to capitalize on the big plays when you have the opportunities. And South did that. So good for them. That's a really good play design. But you can design as many plays as you want. If you can't execute them, it's not going to work. And that's the first time they ran that. A great play designed to get their ball to the best player, or a really, really good player. I'd argue their best player. And they did that. And that's 7 points on the board. So great job.
And I've been very impressed at the bottom of your screen right now. And in number 2, DeLon McPherson, who's been, just lockdown coverage all day. He was a late addition to the Junior Mustangs in the summertime, had a pick in the finals. Very, very impressed by the DB play from South today.
He's been an excellent player. I don't want to say single-handedly, but he was responsible for some of the biggest plays with the South defense, including the interception in the first half. So, if you could continue to do that, that's a pretty big play.
Yep, single bounce. We get this one out of the end zone. This looks like Anthony Green, who's going to keep his feet moving, but is met by 6 South Lions. And here comes the Vikings offense backed way up in their end. And we'll go back to work here for Tristan Arndt and his offensive play calling.
It's not where they wanted to start. They're backed up behind their own 10-yard line, but that is the product of a 15-yard penalty that allowed South to kick the ball up from 15 yards from where you would normally kick the ball off. I think it was from Lucas's 50-yard line was where they were kicking the ball off from. So, these are the consequences for your actions.
Yeah, well, what'll be curious to see here, too, is I think I count at least 5 or 6 guys who have been playing both ways on South for most of the game. Variotes, Reed, and if Rowley's even playing both ways as the quarterback and a DB. So curious to see how the cardio hangs here in the second half.
Well, that's what happens. Sometimes teams, have to do that, and you got to do whatever it takes for victory. So, they look fresh, they look good. They got to make the plays when they have the opportunity to make them, and they've done that at least at the beginning of this half.
3 men in motion as we give this ball back to Pham up the middle. Maybe made the line of scrimmage.
Again, it looked like a first down, classic pulling the backside guard, kind of power or kick play by Lucas. And that backside is where the player's coming from. It looked to me like that right tackle, that backside tackle, didn't solidify the block on the guy playing head up on the backside. Maybe a better way to put it would be a really good play by the backside tackle by the South Lions.
Exactly. It depends on which side of the ball you're paying attention to, right? Well, here we go. Second. Okay, so it does look like they marked him about a yard on that play. So it looks like we're back into a 3-by-1 King look here or 13, depending on the way you want to count it. As Malik gets a good snap, is having a look to the bottom side of the screen, the field side, and this is almost picked off by Rowley. Intended target going to be Anthony Green on this play, and this should bring up the punt crew in a third down situation, and kind of assuming we might see Lucas give up 2 here.
I just realized it is Rowley playing that Sam backer for the South Lions. He's the one that has been covering Scrivener on those 3 receiver sets. That's the same second and long play we've seen from the Vikings this half. It worked the first times and it worked the second time, so it's easy to want to go back to the well. But really good play. I think they kind of knew it was coming, or he was prepared just in case it did.
Yeah, and then the challenge is, you're coaching against some fantastic football minds on on this both sides here. But I mean, South has some of the top coaches in the city. So it's, you're working against a lot of knowledge over here too, right? And if they're going to just keep going back to it, South's going to pick up on it. So, Arndt in the offense of Lucas here really needs to just maybe try something else. The well's a little dry at this point.
I mean, when you keep putting yourself in the second and long positions, it's not a good situation. That's not what you want to do. You want to be able to get those yards on first down, especially on the ground, establish the run, to be able to give yourself a chance to open the playbook on second down. But what we've seen twice in a row in the second half, haven't had that opportunity. Great play by the South Lions defense, and Lucas has to give up another 2 points.
Yep, definitely a momentum shift here at AB Lucas for sure. As things have gotten a little quiet, and it's just at this point it's how do we rally the boys? How do we get them back up going? Now we did have a flag fly on that play, which I think might be. I missed it completely on I was doing the score, but
I did not see it either.
What? Well, I'm going to ask Leo what he's got for time.
Leo, what do you got on the clock? Thank you, sir.
Referee Leo, just we're getting a check in here. We'll get caught back up on. We'll match our clocks back up. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're running the flip book here for Lucas at the moment. So, all right. 6:16 and okay. Now we're back
doing the clock on the
now
broadcast.
Now we're back doing everybody's jobs here, Mr. Caranci. And here we go. So, South back to work on offense. Rowley is going to roll out to his left side. Looks like he might just keep this one. Looking for the edge. Gets a couple of yards, but is taken down on the far side, top side of your screen. Second down.
No safety high here for the Vikings. I was, looking to see if there would be some sort of shot taken, but they're trying to figure out. I think that's their adjustment to the quads look. And if you don't think that Coach Stenning and the boys on the Lions sideline saw that, you would be wrong. I'm not sure they're going to give it to him again on second down, but we've got a 2nd and 9 look, and a South offense that's got a little bit more confidence than they had in the first half.
We're still running. All right. Well, Logan out to our left side is man number 331. King look for South. Looking to see if they can draw out the blitz. Audible coming in. 2 men in motion. Rowley's rolling out to his right side. Having a look downfield. He's got Drake Logan again, who's got 2 men to beat right here. Logan up the sideline, stiff arms, gets off the second tackle, touchdown, South Lions.
Same play they scored on earlier in the half. You have that second receiver playing so tight to Drake Logan. on that 3 receiver side. He has an in-breaking post route, and he ends up setting essentially a pick against the defenders that are trying to cover Logan. So Logan breaks out into a corner, and the rest is history. That's 2 touchdowns in a row on the same offensive play for the South Lions. Very good play design and very good execution by the Lions.
Well, Pershot's put it best earlier in the comment section is that this is a completely different Lions team that we've seen from last week. Again, it's only week 2, and teams get better every single week for sure. But in this United in Sport matchup here at Lucas High School, South doing a really good job of just racking up and collecting points right now.
Well, listen, I remember, a couple of years ago, we played against South at CCH in 2023, and we played there. And, they knew how to play offense over there on the South Lions. I mean, I didn't think our defense was that bad at defense, but, they shredded us. Like we were shredded. And, it's pretty good to see these big plays again. I tip my hat to them. I really do. To take a lead like this going into later into the second half, later into the third quarter is a big thing for the Lions here.
Well, joining us here live on London Football TV. Again, appreciate you tuning in. Tomorrow, about the same start time, 11 o'clock, weather and internet permitting, we'll be at the Oak Ridge CCH game. Real excited to see those guys putting the work in there, too. Some really interesting games yesterday, if you caught the Wednesday scores as well. I think most of us on the prediction show got that one correct. So there was a lot of games we all agreed on, but again, it's early, right? And even in this game, I know there was a bit of disparity in the picks. So we'll get caught up on that. That show will go live next week, too. We'll do our week 3 predictions. I know me and Joe are on the road next week, too, so it might be a Zoom meeting prediction show. We'll figure it out. Regardless, there'll be a prediction show one way or another.
People demand it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might end up being just pre-recorded and not so much live, but we'll get it sorted. So here we go. As the South Lions, who are now leading 25-7, are looking to kick this one off, kick it almost like a little moonshotty here. This one will bounce off the deck and get loose. And the Lucas Vikings offense going back to work. And the returner on that one, if I can get a number, was Scrivener, I believe, number 5.
So now you have Lucas starting this drive just short of their own 40-yard line. I mean, it's obviously not in the red zone, and it's not even in South's end, but it's a new drive, a fresh start, and we'll see if they can do it. I mean, 2 drives in a row, they've run the ball with a wrap play, a power play to the field to start. The backside has not been able to block up the South Lions, and then you set up a 2nd and long. So, I mean, they really need to just establish this run game and, get a drive going. I mean, that's what they really do. They have no momentum right now, so they got to dig into it to see if they can get some yards.
Yeah, absolutely. 1st and 10, Malik with a 2x2, King. He's going to pull this one. He's having a look downfield. He's got his man open who almost pulls it in. Is that DeLon McPherson again in the one-on-one matchup? Yes, it is. And, man, does DeLon have Anthony Green's number today.
It's a play action up the middle to the field. Again, a nice little pivot out to the right side, to the QB strong side, and you have a nice sideline by the number 1 receiver and then a corner from the number 2 receiver. A little bit of a high-low concept, trying to get that corner on his heels, pressing him deep, and then coming back on maybe a 15 or 10 to 15-yard route. And he made a great play. I mean, these corners by these South Lions corners are doing a really, really excellent job seeing what they're up against on the edge, on the outsides, and dealing with it.
Yeah, 22 flipping into a 13, motion backs into a 3x2. We see Sean having a look, boundary side, finds his man, does connect. He trucks through the first 2, and he's going to get about a 7-yard pickup here, so we should have about a 3rd and 3. Yep.
Interesting formation. They start 3 receivers towards us, a 31 look, and end up in a 23 look to the field side. But it's 2nd and long, and they end up throwing the ball to the flats on, I don't know if it was a check down or just kind of playing a high-low. Really, South's defense is playing high, obviously, because it's 2nd and long, so it's tough to do much. It's easier for South to play when it's 2nd and long. South to play defense when it's 2nd and long, but pretty good yards after contact, but it's just not enough. So you got the 3rd and 3 for the Vikings.
Yeah. So 3rd and 3, curious to see if we get just sort of some sort of a Hank call, like a hard count, to see if they try and get him off, or if we just run a play here. As we get 2 men in motion, Yep, we're just going to run a play. Malik's got Anthony Green. Anthony Green gets the first, keeps trucking. Finally brought down here just about half field, and we'll move the chains.
Very good play design by the Vikings. They have 3 receivers to the field. This side, they expand, they motion number 3 receiver out to the number 1 receiver, and the Sam tracked him. So you have Jacob Rowley, the QB, the guy who plays QB on offense, tracks to the outside and then has to make a play on a bit of a wide receiver screen or wide receiver hitch play. So good play design. They got the yards they needed.
All right, here we go. Back to work. Same look that we've been seeing, been a 2x2 king.
Two linebackers from the Lions playing low. I think one of them's probably coming. Nope,
Yeah.
They didn't.
2 men in motion. Sean's having a look field side, but it's not there. He's got to tuck it and run. It's going to pick up about 3 yards, and it'll be second down.
Great coverage by the Lions there. It wasn't necessarily a sack, but it forced Sean Malik to have to run up the gut for a very small gain and take a hit that he did not necessarily want to take.
Yeah, no, we don't ever want our quarterbacks taking any sort of contact, and especially in the trenches is the last place you want your guy to run. But good on Sean for picking up 3. And, sometimes you got to put the team on your back and just go for it, right? And sometimes it's your quarterback stepping up, making those big plays that can reignite things like we've seen here on the South bench.
7 up for the Lions here.
Malik's going to roll out, drop back, hitting the boundary side. He's got a man, but he's just underthrown. He was looking for Anthony Green. DeLon McPherson ready to rock as always. He's got Green's number today. That's going to go incomplete. 3rd and 7, and looks like the offense is staying out. I mean, really, it's 25-7. You kind of need to. We need points at this point, and the clock is rolling down.
They come back to that sideline corner route concept on that little pivot by the QB that they've run a number of times today. It should be there because by design it should be there because you really want to press that corner deep, and he's going to have to protect it. But these corners from South are just playing so well today, and quite frankly, they've not been able to take many shots deep outside, so they're just not feeling the pressure and getting on their heels.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dave Martin, a defensive coach in this city that I have learned a heck of a lot from. These kids be blessed to be coached by him and the crew that they've got at South High School. As we see Malik looking for the deep shot on the bottom side of your screen, and we do pull this one in. That's a great catch. That's going to be from number 6, Brian Tong, one of the Tong brothers. Move the chains. First down, Lucas.
Well, it's a nice, wheel concept, really kind of a wheel on the waggle, I guess, kind of an exchange before the ball is snapped, forcing Rowley to have to cover that on the edge. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we talking about? We're talking about how good the corners for South have played today versus this Lucas pass game. So what do? You got to force somebody else to have to cover those outside routes. And, Rowley's playing it pretty well in defensive pass coverage today. But you know what? He can only do so much, and I would not take him over McPherson, certainly covering those balls on the outside.
Well, interesting, they've also moved to the target in Tong and away from Scrivener and Green, knowing that they've been getting double covered for a lot of the game as well. So here we go.
Arndt was yelling at me there for a second.
Yeah, right.
I got a little scared.
Here we go. Sean looking for the same target. DeLon McPherson now locking down our man Grant Tong, and it's not there. So
you had a receiver one-on-one to the boundary, isolated against McPherson, who's had a heck of a game so far, and he's decided to take the shot. I don't know why you wouldn't take that shot. That's a good shot to take on first down if it's one-on-one. But again, you're forcing your receiver to play one-on-one and beat the corner, and the corner came up better on that one.
Okay, so that's going to be quarter time. Let me just jump, or actually I can do it here. And a shout out to Brian Trupish watching the broadcast right now, appreciating the cast. We appreciate you tuning in, Brian, and we'll be looking forward to covering your boys' game tomorrow. And we do still have Dylan Sherville tuned in. And Everett apparently said he was going to jump in at halftime or sorry, on his lunch or something. I guess he's teaching, these guys with their jobs and such.
They're still in the Matrix, man. They can't just hang out like the rest of us do.
In a 25-7 affair. Crancy, you've done a great job here today, by the way, too, right, man? It's always nice to have a different football mind on the call as well, too. I've worked with a lot of them in the city, and I think, in a United in Sport game, I didn't think we'd have a 25-7 game here in the South Lucas affair. I thought it was going to stay pretty close, but South really found that next gear. They've really got the boys rolling, and you could just, it's a body language thing. You've got, it's rowdy to the left of us right now, which would be the South bench, and it's gotten really quiet in the baby blues over here on the right. So I hope I got to coach the junior game after this one, so I'm really hoping that my juniors are up getting rowdy in the change room right now, because I don't want them being all somber when they come down to play the game.
Coach says my cousin says they're going in at 1:00 as directed by you guys, the coaching staff. But I'll tell you again, for both South and Lucas, these are two perennially very talented, very well coached teams in A Division football in London. And as you know, preaching to the choir, A Division football in London, Tier 1 or whatever we're calling it nowadays,
I'm still confused.
Is the SEC of Canadian football, quite frankly. It just is. So, any of these teams can win. What we've seen is a close game. We've seen big plays by the Lions. We saw a big play by Lucas earlier on. And the game's not over, let's be honest. We still got a long quarter to come.
Well, and there's no shortage of, lists and such on Instagram from different as we get a shot here from Malik that's going to go incomplete. There's all sorts of power rankings online, including ours, but, there's the provincial list that everybody's always ranking people high on. CCH, I think, is at number 3 on that one right now. But, it's really tough because, there's, the teams that are in front of CCH right now on the current, province-wide power ranking sheet, they never play, right? And they don't even play in finals when we get to the Wassa Bowls and Western Bowls and all this other business. So it's really hard to put a provincial power rankings where they're not going to play down to a number 1, right? So it's one of those where, I tell the kids all the time, like, they put us in 3rd. Like, who cares? Come on, play the game, right? Because I would put most London football teams up against any other team in this province, and I think they do very, very well. There is an amazing football community here in the city of guys who coach at OUA levels, OSFL levels, high school levels, that, there's a reason we have so much good football in the city, and all the scouts and teams, look the amount of guys in the NFL right now, the guys going to the OUA is crazy. So
you look at those top 25 rankings where, you just have to take them for what they are. It's engagement. This is how the news and media is consumed nowadays, and that's a good thing. I mean, back in our day when we played football, we still had guys like Steve Green and Brent Lale running the high school beat, and Morris Delacosta coming around, and Merrick Sutherland, and otherwise. It was just a different media ecosystem. So you got to take this for what they are. The rankings help people understand what's going on, but it's certainly not something to live and die by. You still got to win the game.
Vikings going for it on 3rd, 2 men in motion. Sean Malik rolling out to his right side. He's in trouble, and he's getting taken down in the backfield, and that will turn over on down. South will get the ball. And here we go. Yeah, and I'm with you 100%. It's we put up rage bait stuff every once in a while too, right? So, but it's tough when especially you've got a power ranking that's ran by somebody out of like Ottawa. And what do they know about London football? Unless they're watching it, of course, here on London Football TV, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But again, accessibility is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Making this accessible, giving people the opportunity to tune in and check it out if they want to, when they need to, is so important. And again, you look at those top 25 rankings, 5 of the 5 London teams. There are 5 London teams in those top 25 rankings. And by the way, that doesn't even include St. Andre, who we think might be a really high-level championship contender this year, let's be honest. So, London has got some excellent football. I know we're preaching to the choir saying that. But, it's just a new ecosystem, a new environment. And, the more content, the merrier.
Well, even on the media coverage, as Rowley rolls out to his right side, he's having a look downfield, gets this one up. Nice little pull in from, I think, Lane Variotes, who's going to roll onto the track here, and it'll be 2nd down and about 5.
Nothing better than catching a pass and landing on that nice, dirt track that's out there.
Oh, yeah.
In all seriousness, as I make fun of the dirt track, the fact of the matter is, London, as much as we have the best football in the province, and I would say the country certainly, I'd welcome anybody in the country to come play a full season of Tier 1A Division London football and see how they fare.
Yeah.
But I mean, here we are at Lucas, on this incredibly beautiful field, and I mean, we have some of the best fields. I know they get a lot of criticism because all these other school boards have got these beautiful turf facilities and otherwise, and we need some more here in London. But I mean, this kind of environment, it just doesn't beat this on a late September afternoon.
Absolutely. Rally tosses one out to Moxley. Moxley is met at the line of scrimmage, and this will bring up a third down. Yeah, I thought it was even funny on the media coverage side of things. We're at the Beefeaters game this weekend, and all of a sudden I see a camera guy with a CTV badge, and I'm like, wait, you haven't been here at all? And no, it's because there was no the Mustangs were on bye week, right? So it's just like, come on, man. Like and I get it, and I'm not a London native. I'm from east of Toronto, but always really interesting to hear the old stories of, the A channel coverage and stuff like that. And you go back and you watch the old John Darnell and Mike Cercelli, when they both had hair and it was dark, right?
And finals.
And it's interesting to see. So, we appreciate, everybody supporting us, and it's been, it's always fun to cover as much football as we can. As this punt is launched downfield, looks like Scrivener on the return, but it's going to get gobbled up right away by 9, who I think is Mason Thorne. Yes, it is.
We have had some rain these past few days. It's not the field condition looks pretty good from here, anyways, but you're going to have a slip and fall.
It's damp. I walked across it this morning to carry all the stuff over here, and it was I had damp shoes by the time I got here. Are we good?
He was just looking.
Okay. I don't know.
No, it's a beautiful, beautiful field, beautiful facility. It's just this is exactly what we wait for. The nice week 2 games, when it's a long February and we're saying, hey, take us back to a week 2 matchup between the Vikings and the Lions, middle of the day at late September. I mean,
absolutely.
Nothing better than this.
Well, we've had, the last fake summer, for the last couple of weeks, but man, is it fall now, and we'll take it as we go back to that 22 King look here as we motion him across. Fan in the backfield with Sean Malik. 1st and 10, Vikings, 2 men in motion. Sean having a look to the bottom of the screen. Looking for his man who almost pulls it in. Nope, that's going to go incomplete. That was intended for Scrivener.
Scrivener with a great opportunity on the ball. What I'm seeing is South adjust to a 34 defensive look rather than their typical 52 look, only keeping 3 linemen down. I mean, when it's the 4th quarter and you are up 18 points, to keep those to get those players off the edge and back them off a little bit, add somebody else in coverage. I think it certainly helps. It certainly helps your opportunity. But what I'm seeing is a very diverse defense from the Lions here that's making it's a pretty tough day here for Lucas. They've only got 7 points, and it was a big play they took advantage of early. Since then, there hasn't been much.
Yeah, well, and if you get a chance, you're ahead this much too. It's like, why not try a new look on a different opponent as well too, right? And if you can bring that amount of heat with a 30 front, then go for it, as we see a 31 2-man in motion. Sean having a look to the top side of the field. He's in trouble. He's just going to go for it. Drake Logan in trail. He's got Mason Thorne who misses, gets out of bounds, and gets the first down for Lucas. And we may have a player down. Yes, we do.
That doesn't look good.
I don't know if we can catch it on the replay.
Well, the Lions got pressure on Malik. They sat in that 34 look, but they brought both middle linebackers up the middle, forced them to roll out and bootleg out. But, he got the first down. What it looked like is that receiver, I don't know if it's number 3, but he looked like his right shoulder, while he was trying to make a block on Drake Logan coming across to tackle Sean Malik. It looks like he made contact, and it doesn't look good on that shoulder. So hopefully it's nothing too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Martin out on the field. Coach Tristan Arndt having a chat with his quarterback after Lucas just picked up a fresh set of downs. I'm going to just double check something here.
Well, you were just talking about, trying something else out. Obviously, South's not, won this game yet, and they're not, spiking the football, as it were. But to put this new defense, the 34 defense, on film, it forces their next opponent, whoever that may be, and the opponent after that to have to scout for it, prepare for it, and know what they have to do. Otherwise,
of course, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that of course, Coach Matty Snyder, working hard right now, jumping in. Yeah, that's fine. It's these numbers that matter right there.
Excellent.
So, yeah, we're good. Snide's coming in here. South bench, or something much more multiple formations for this game, getting into 4x1 and 3x1. The H sets, giving them the numbers to the field. 2 TDs from 4x1 scissor concept. Matt Snyder might love.
It's almost like he knows what he's talking about.
He might love London football more than anybody, I think, at this point.
No, he's been, the best thing to happen to that Beefs organization, which I'm proud to sit on their board of directors. He's been the best thing to happen to us for a very, very long time. And, fact of the matter is you got a pretty amazing team down in St. Clair, just, kind of in a different league for what they're able to offer. That's the only team that's beaten the Beefeaters from the time he's been there. And to keep the Beefeaters closer to that very tippy-top echelon rather than, to join the rest of the pack, he deserves number one credit in making that happen.
Absolutely.
So,
and,
hopefully he's there for a very, very long time.
Yeah. If you're watching, this broadcast right now, if you haven't caught a CJFL game, absolutely go pick one up. It's fantastic football. As we flip back to this game where we're seeing some great football played with Sean Malik sending 2 guys in motion right now. He's going to have a look to the bottom side of your screen. He's got his man open in the flats. Who's going to go for a first down catch run? That's number 11. We haven't said his name. That's Waleed Fidel coming from the defense and catching footballs now. I used to coach that kid. That's impressive, actually. I didn't think he had hands.
I think it's a great play to run in that situation to get the ball to the flats where they don't think South is covering. And I mean, again, when you're up 18 points as the Lions are, you're going to back things off. You're going to make sure you protect those deep balls, as they've done very, very well today. So it's good that Malik could see that and dump that off. Quite frankly, I would go back to that. I'd go back to that either now or very soon.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Fresh set of downs. 3x1 and a king look here for Lucas Vikings. 2 men in motion. Fan stays in to block. Malik having a scramble. He's in trouble. And here comes Alex Arnos to finish the job. And that'll bring up a second and about 18.
Pressure from the Lions gets there. I mean, we've had some injuries on the Lucas. We've had some injuries on the Lucas offensive line, and you're going to see that manifest itself when you need to protect a pocket, and you're going to have to defend against 6 guys coming at your prize quarterback.
Yeah, Damon Wajia going down earlier in the game is that's a big hole missing on the O line. Obviously, the next man up here for Lucas, but certainly that would have hurt him a little bit.
It's second and long.
Snides, you should just drive down to Lucas, buddy. Come finish the last 6 minutes of this game with us. Okay, here we go. Same look from Lucas. Second and about 18.
3x1 King. You still have the South free safety. He's bailing, but he's playing close to the boundary here. So that field, they're going to be able to pick it apart.
We let this loose. Anthony Green's got it. Stays on his feet, makes it down to the 20. First down, Vikings.
As I was just saying, they have 3 receivers, King, to the field, and that South free safety's playing, right on top of the ball, bailing deep, but he's bailing on the, boundary hash. And what does that give you? It gives you the opportunity, if you're Lucas, to kind of pick apart that 3 receiver side, especially on a corner route or something that's breaking out. So, they've thrown that play already, or they've thrown that ball already a number of times today, including for the touchdown that they scored in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It's good to see them go back to that and, Sean put the ball right on.
You can double click on that little screen there if you want to get it full screen for the delay. Nice.
Good.
All right, here we go. Malik almost in trouble again, scrambles up the middle. He's going to get swallowed up again. Second down, Vikes.
Looked like he was going back to that flats. Maybe you heard me say it. That flat route to the 2 receiver side to the field on first down. But it was covered up pretty well by the South D end, as a matter of fact. It was either he was in a 52 and he kind of Egypted out, or he was in a 34 and he kind of bailed. I couldn't see the depth, but good coverage by the Lions. Sean Malik limping here. That's not what you want to see.
No. Well, I mean, he had to keep it and basically run into the trenches here again, too, which, we talked about that earlier. It's one of the last places we ever want our quarterback. the Beefeaters games, every time we see DJ Fonte, even though he's tough, go run it. Everybody's holding their breath at that point, and I know, including Coach Ron. Well, 2x2. The Queen, I believe.
They're bringing 7.
Oh, a high snap. Malik's got a jump on it. And the South players are calling for a turnover, but the White Hats right in there.
They're saying Lucas's ball here. The courage of South to bring 6 or 7 players on second and long situations. This game, I mean, it's great when it works, and it worked there, and it's worked for most of the game. It's not great when it doesn't work, and that's when they gave up a big touchdown. But, I mean, you know what? It's good defensive play calling by the DC on the Lions.
Yeah, well, about 4:20 left on the clock. We'll double-check with the ref down on the field to make sure we are semi-lined up here after this play. But Lucas obviously needing the points right now, leaving offense in, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14-ish. And back in a 3x1, expecting we've got Scrivener on the bottom side of your screen. We've got a one-on-one up top between DeLon McPherson and Anthony Green. Sean's looking field side. Deep shot. Looking for the PI. We do have a flag on the field. And I'm assuming that's what we're going to get here from the back judge.
3 receivers set to the field. He had a nice little exchange in the waggle between the number 2 and number 3 receiver. Looked like a bit of a divide or verticals concept, kind of a divide concept. I thought both of them, he had the opportunity. He certainly had the under a little bit, would have been a bit of an easier throw. But he did put the ball right on that, that receiver running the seam route. And it looked like the referee thought there was enough contact to throw a flag.
Yeah, I think it was Tong. So really, we're basically going to get the free first down out of this one because that 15 yards will get them to where they need to be. And the Vikings should be playing from, I think, the 9 or the 10-yard line with unofficially just over 3 minutes left on the clock here. Vikings knocking on the door for the first time in a while.
They got to convert on this. This game is not over. There's lots of time. This is an eternity if they can score a touchdown here.
Here we go. 2 men in motion. Malik having a look to the boundary side. Has a man in Anthony Green. No flags. Touchdown, Lucas Vikings.
Great play by the Vikes. They had 2 receivers to the boundary at the top of the screen. They exchange in their waggle, and they have a little bit of a under an out route, I should say, by that receiver that was motioning in to start. Puts a lot of pressure on those corners, and great play design and great execution.
All right. I think it's Gerber in for the chip shot. Oh, and it's blocked by Rowley, who, man, what team is that kid not on today for the South Lions? So 25-13 is your score, and the Vikings kickoff team set to go to work for the first time, and it's basically the beginning of the game.
So to make that block is significant in that it makes it a 12-point game rather than an 11-point game. Well, an 11-point game, you can get a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion to tie the game up. Now it's a full 2-touchdown game necessary for the Vikings to come back. So I mean, the fact that kid's playing quarterback, he's playing Sam, and he's been covering Scrivener on those corner routes all game long. To make a play like that this late in the fourth quarter, I mean, you asked earlier, Adam, about how many guys South has playing both ways and in different positions, and can they keep their tempo up and keep their breath? I mean, that's massive.
2:55. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that was my concern is just, have these guys got it? But, it's one of those, like, the adrenaline shot in the arm once South starts rolling. I think you probably played a lot of two-way. I certainly never left the field. And it was just one of those, like.
Oh, you certainly didn't.
Yeah. I wish I could have.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Right? But it's one of those, it's. You get the team gets rolling, and all of a sudden, time doesn't matter. You're not tired. It's just magic is happening. And here we are with 2:55 left officially from the ref. We have synced that up. And going for, I don't know if that was supposed to be an onside, but it was a bit more of a moonshot here, sir.
Kicked the ball about 25 yards. I think you might have wanted to make it a little bit shorter, but what you had was the South Lion who tried to catch the ball. He dropped it, so you just didn't have enough time for the Vikes to get down there and try and jump on the ball. But a nice attempt. They went for the onside, but this is 3 minutes, man. It's what, 2:53 left, or just approximately?
2 and 2 on timeouts left as well too. We're not tracking that on the screen today, but that is the official count. I just got that from the refs as well. So yeah, 1st and 10 South. I mean, really, this just becomes a let's just run it. Let's try and chew the clock down situation. But we'll see what the South offensive unit comes
that's
back.
Coach Kurowski's special in college football 26. Flips that thing on so he can get to bed a little bit earlier. That's all right.
Here we go. Rowley going to keep this one up the middle, swallowed up in the backfield.
See, this is what I'm seeing from South is they hit those 2 big plays in the second half to take the lead that they have right now. That's massive. But assuming Lucas has made the adjustments necessary to see that, identify that, and prevent it the next time, now you're back to, okay, now that they've made those adjustments, how are we going to adjust such that we can actually gain some yards? I mean, they went back to that kind of QB draw play that they've run a number of times today with Rowley. It's still now it's 2nd and long. So they're going to have to sustain a drive and convert, or else they're going to give Lucas the ball back with plenty of time to make a comeback here.
Here we go. Back into 3-by-1 King look here for South as Rowley pulls this one, rolling out to his right side, having a look downfield. He's got Drake Logan wide open again. Drake's got a couple guys to beat here. He's likely going to house call this one. He absolutely does. No flags on the field. Touchdown, South Lions.
So I said, assuming they made the adjustments necessary to prevent that play, that was the 3rd time they've run that play today. And for the 3rd time, that play has been a touchdown on 2nd and long. So it's a great play design. You're going to have to adjust to prevent it from happening. But that, that's the reason for 3 scores on the scoreboard for the South Lions. You just can't have that continue to happen. And again, let's be honest. Let's talk about South and how great that was in execution. That was a great throw, a great bootleg, and a great catch by the receiver. So well done. Catch and run by the receiver.
Yeah. Well, and Drake Logan, a guy who we didn't see a whole lot from last week, again, including Ali Seif. There's a lot of names here that we've been calling today that have just been, instrumental in the South's success today. And we've now got ourselves a 32-13 matchup, which with 2:12 left is that's with a couple of timeouts, still lots of time, still an eternity as you said earlier. And but yeah, Luke is definitely going to have to, a nice kickoff return right now would be nice if you could house call it, right? But I mean, the South Lions are rolling, right?
South's up 19 points. That's 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and. Again, at the end of the day, the story of this game is going to be the fact that they were able to generate big plays in the second half, and the adjustments from Lucas just didn't come to fruition. I mean, we're looking at the same play 3 times, bootleg right, throwing a corner to the 3rd receiver, who just so happens to be, one of the most explosive players in the city, if not the province, if not the country. And I mean, that's got to be covered. And none of the times it was thrown, it was covered well. And that's why you see a 19-point lead here for the South Lions.
Yeah, well, and something we kind of glazed over earlier is the fact that really Lucas really only has the passing game today, right? With Sigurdsson down, Buckle down, RB1, RB2. You got Alvin Pham in there doing what he can, but we haven't seen a whole lot of run game out of Lucas, right? It's been the air attack, and South has an answer for that air attack, which makes for a very long day if you're in the baby blues right now.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned from some of the best coaches, in the city, either coaching with them at CCH or, observing them elsewhere, is you just got to coach the kids. Like, you got to develop your depth early, and you can't just make assumptions that you're going to have certain people the entire season, because that's just not what football is. This is not a net sport. This is not, an easy sport. It's a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And, their depth has been challenged early. Both teams have.
Anthony Green on the return right now. Gets shut down here, just shy of the 40-yard line. And we'll go back to work here with the Lucas offense. And you're exactly right. Well, Coach Melrose up here running the flip book because no one else is.
They don't pay us enough to do the score.
Yeah. I'll take my payment in chicken wings later, fellas. All right, just because y'all can't see what's going on, Coach Melrose over here adjusting the flip book that is the scoreboard today because, unfortunately, the proper scoreboard here at Lucas is broken. So back to work here for the Lucas Vikings in a similar look that we've seen them in all day, 2-by-2.
52 look here from the Lions. They got both ends up.
Yeah. And new quarterback in as well for the Lucas Vikings.
Yeah.
In, I think, this is Broat. This would be Maddox Broat, I believe. Is he wearing 35? Yeah, Maddox Broat, new quarterback in. Trying to give your, grade 11 quarterback some quality reps. This game's pretty much out of hand at this point now that we've adjusted the flip book. So I think, why not? Maddox was a kid who at the junior team for me last year stepped up, was a very coachable kid, and did a good job as a first-year quarterback. And, obviously he's seeing all that pressure South's been bringing all day and now has the pleasure of stepping into this role as we see 2 men in motion. Reed's going to get a bit of a bobble snap here. He does pick it up. Running to his outside, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. He doesn't. Lucas will lose about 3 yards here, and we should bring up 3rd down.
South lines up in that 34 look on 2nd and 10, and they bring both middle linebackers to make it a 5-man rush, and they get the pressure. They've done that. They've done a great job at getting pressure on 2nd and long today, and it's been a really big piece of the success they've had on defense.
Yeah, and we'll close it off. Now, interesting, we're seeing some rotation, some rolling of the benches here on the left side of our screen, but still all the starters in for South, looking to probably just solidify this one for sure. But a ton of depth on this bench right now as well.
Well, I think that South is not taking this game or anything for granted, especially with what they've experienced so far this year. So,
yeah,
they're going to fight to the last down.
Maddox Reed putting this one in the air. Looking for his man, number 30, downfield. I don't know if you want to grab
Max Lasso.
Lasso, who's another grade 11 receiver. And that'll be a turnover on downs at this point. With, I believe, just over a minute left. I think Coach Stenning was just asking the referees if he'd be able to just knee it out. Which, unless Lucas wants to call their timeouts, really could end the game at this point with the math, I believe. No, actually, you need to run a couple plays, which I think we're about to see.
I think they've got a new quarterback in number 12, if I'm not mistaken.
12's going to be – that's Skeven. So Skeven went in late in the Medway game. Decent for grade 11 quarterback. And I know another guy who's new to the game. And we'll see what he's going to dial up here as we get a couple guys in motion here. Everybody kind of empties out. Skeven's just going to keep this one up the middle. Skeven does a good job of picking up about 5 yards, 2nd down South.
I think Coach Stenning and the Lions think they need to get a 1st down here before they have enough to kneel it out. I think they might be right. I'm just not sure what the time on the official clock is. They would have checked that before making this decision. But
yeah. On the official iPhone timer today, right? So it was nice when he was up here with us for a minute because I could just look over at his watch. But here we go. South back to work. Skeven at the helm. 2nd and I guess probably 6, at this point. Skeven's going to hand this one off to his running back in number 14, I believe. Yeah, 14, another new name here for South.
Itabo.
Yeah, so nice tough run from Itabo. And I think we're going to move that about, this is going to bring up 3rd and short. And we've clocked it in. So the unofficial time on our broadcast right now is about 47 seconds, but we will try and match that up as the South replacements are hitting the field right now, looking to get set up and burning a little bit of extra time as well, too. Skeven with 3 men in motion. He's going to hand this one back off to his running back in number 14, who has a nice, healthy run as well. Lead blocker Arno's out in front of him, and that'll be enough for a 1st down. So
this will be enough to take a knee now.
Yeah. And it looks like, and that'll be the game. And that's your final, Mr. Caranci, as we'll let the clock roll down. A 32-13 affair. Much closer going into half. But, man, did South come to play today? I mean, they got absolutely blown up last week by Medway, obviously looking to set the tone. And, man, did they reset their team. A really, really good job by them. Lucas looking good in the first half, but just seemed to run out of steam. Again, tough on the running game side of things. But final thoughts on the matchup today, Mr. Caranci?
Well, the big takeaway from today is just the bounce-back game that the South Lions had. The talk of the town last week was obviously their big loss to the Medway Cowboys at home in their United in Sport game. And it was trying to figure out what's going to happen with the South Lions. Myself and a number of other people, correctly said at this point, you don't count these guys out. They're well coached. They're well disciplined. They've been there before. They know what it takes to be victorious. And they've just shown up and beaten one of the best teams in the city, Lucas Vikings, on their United in Sport game, and established themselves as right back in the hunt in the division and in the playoff race and in the championship race. So just a massive performance by the South Lions. Obviously a little bit disappointing, pretty disappointing for the Lucas Vikings here today. But you know what? They're going to have an opportunity to regroup and bounce back next week. So a great game. The game was a lot closer than the scoreboard predicted, or the scoreboard shows, but three massive plays by South in the second half set them apart. Really was the same play three times that Lucas wasn't able to adapt to, and that's okay. It's never a bad play to put the ball in the hands of your best player, and they did that three times in a row, and guess what? It worked out. So congrats to the Lions.
Well, and I think you would agree with me on this, but for me, I think defensive player of the game today, I have to give to number 2, DeLon McPherson. I think, man, did he have Green's number? Was playing all over the field, even when they put him on Scribner for a minute, and great job. And offensively, I'm going Drake Logan. I think, had a light week against Medway. He was the guy today, scores 3 touchdowns. Or hit me with another player of the game if you want on offense. But Drake and DeLon are my 2 players today.
Couldn't agree
for sure.
more with both of them. Number 1, Drake Logan, and number 2, DeLon McPherson. Definitely 2 players that made massive differences for the Lions today. The only other name, not the only other name, but the next name that I would highlight is just the absolute gritty, both ways performance by Jacob Rowley, playing quarterback and Sam linebacker in coming off of the performance last week. I mean, that's a pretty special thing for him to have accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap this broadcast up. Nathan, thank you so much for joining me today, brother. It's been Coach Caranci from CCH, Beef's coach as well. The reason London Football TV Live exists, the man behind the curtains, if you will, orchestrating everything. We appreciate you for coming in today, man. If you want to get involved in a broadcast, please let me know. However you want to get a hold of me. Somebody knows me that I promise. And we'll be back tomorrow live at 11 a.m. from Oak Ridge, covering CCH and Oak Ridge. And for Adam Melrose and Nathan Caranci, this has been London Football TV, and we'll see you next time.